All right, I'm going to go through the basics behind the last quiz. The most important thing probably is that you know how to do a three-letter angle. This says angle DAE measures 109. So if you don't know where that is, you can't do this problem. So there are four angle A's up there. So it's going to be one of the angle A's. The letter in the middle is always which corner it is. The question is, which sides am I using? So DAE is going to be this angle over here. So if I don't get that number 109 in the right place, I can't do this. So put your fingers on it. Know the middle one is going to be the corner, but then like if it was CAB, it would be this one over here. If it was CAD, it would be this one over here. You've got to be able to do that. If you need more practice with that, let me know. I'll give you more practice. The other thing you need to know, straight lines always add up to 180, so that's got to be 71. Vertical angles have to be the same, so that's got to be 109, which means that also has to be 71. And then we've got parallel lines here. So all of my corresponding angles will be the same, and all of the other corresponding angles. And basically when I got parallel lines, especially if it's drawn to scale, all my acute angles will be the same acute number, and all my obtuse angles will be the same obtuse number. And then so down here, FBG, so once again, I've got to understand what this means. FBG, I'm going to do it in another color, so you're really clear on this. FBG is this angle right here, so that's going to be 71. And FBA is this angle right here. Let me do it in another color. FBA is right here, so that's going to be 109. So once again, those three letters, I've got students who are still stuck on that, and I don't know how to get you unstuck. I can give you more practice if you need it, but if you don't understand what I'm asking for there, you're not going to get any of these right. So that's a lot right there, the first 2 minutes. I'm going to get through as many of these as I can, but I'm going to stop at 8 minutes. I can actually get through all of these in less than 7 if I'm not talking, but I've done a lot of these. I've got a lot of practice, so I can do them fast. Okay, here, I don't use that terminology. I actually named the angles by a letter. So this is angle H there. So that one measures 51. And so that's that. And J is 71. So that's here. Okay, two rules here. Once again, I have a straight line. All the angles on one side of the straight line have to add up to 180. So if I add those two together, 71 and 51, I get 122. Hopefully I'm doing the math right, which means whatever that number is has to be 180 minus 122, or that's going to be 58, I think. Okay, so that's got to be 58. All the other angles are easy now. This one's vertical, it's 58. This one's vertical, it's 51. That one's vertical, it's 71. This is asking for G. I didn't need to find all of those, but G is 71. It's right there, and F is 58. It's right there. Okay, next one. This is an isosceles triangle. It's badly drawn, but I know this angle and this angle have to be congruent because they're opposite from the congruent sides. So if I give you those, you know they're the same. If I don't give you those, which is what I gave you right here, that's 42, I know this whole triangle has to add up to 180 degrees. So if I do 180 minus 42, that gives me 138, and that's what I have to split between those two. So I divide by 2, and that's going to be 69, I think. So angle Y, 69, as is angle T. And I can double check myself. Those three things should add up to 180. Okay? A lot of things add up to 180. Down here, I have two sets of parallel lines. And I tell you this one is 45 degrees. And I tell you that this G is 45 degrees. And that means these things, once again, have to add up to 180. So that's going to be 135. That's going to be 135. That's going to be 45. Down here, this set of parallel lines means all these have to be either 135 or 45. Even though I don't need to find them all, and I actually didn't even need this number because these are parallel too. If these weren't parallel, I would need to know this set. But over here, once again, all these end up being 135 and 45. This is kind of a weird one. I gave you two numbers. I didn't need to give you two numbers, but I did anyway. And once again, your obtuse angles should have a large number by it, something more than 90, and your acute angles, your smaller angles, should have something less than 90, assuming it's drawn to scale. And so once again, down here, angle E, which is actually here, my E's are a little badly drawn. That's a C over there, but it's alphabetical order. 45, and then K is 135. All right, next one. We're 5 minutes in. Okay, B is 154. Those two have to add up to 180, so that's going to be 26, I think. Yes, okay, which means angle A is 26, and A plus B is what are they added together? I am just double checking that you know the two angles added together are 180, and you couldn't see any of that. Sorry, pull it back down. This is 180, they gave me the 154, this is 26, and therefore, all right there. Sorry, that was a wasted minute. Okay, these are parallel lines. These are not parallel lines. So these two intersections are going to have the same numbers. These two intersections are going to have the same numbers. Okay, so I tell you P is 158 and Z is 76. Okay, so I know all of these in both intersections are either 76 or whatever adds to 180, which is 104. Let me go ahead and label those real quick. I don't need to do this, but I'm going to. And then over here in this section, these are either 158 or they got to add to 180, so that's going to be 22, I think. Yep. So 22, and once again, I got parallel lines, so these down here have to be the same. These are 22 and 158. Now, you will notice this is not exactly to scale, because that 76 looks about like that 22, but the main thing is these two sets have to be the same because they're parallel lines, and my corresponding angles have to be congruent. And these two sets have to be the same. But I agree, that doesn't look like it's 22 degrees. And so for my answers down here, T is going to be 22, and M is going to be 76. Okay, I got 1 more minute to get through a couple others. All right, I'm going to do this one first because it's simple, but it's also, once again, it goes back to our original point. M is 91 degrees. K is 57 degrees. And so we know the three of them have to add up to 180. So 91 plus 57 is going to give me 8 and 148 if I'm adding that correctly, which means what's left over for 180 is going to be, I'm going to do this in my head, it's 32. Okay, so if I've done all those right, I'm not checking my work here, that works out. And that actually does. 89 and 91 make 180. Now down here, it asks me for KIM. KIM is 32, but I got to recognize it's KIM. It's that corner. And then KMI. I already gave you KMI. It's M. Those are the same angle. KMI. This is me just checking. Do you know how to do a 3-letter angle? It's 91. Okay, I'm going to check real quick and see if there's any that I want to do again. But I think that's probably good. Yeah, I'm going to do one last one, just because this one gets some people. And I'm not going to use the numbers they gave me here. I'm just going to make something up. I'm going to say this is 100, and I'm going to say this is 160, and the question is how big is that angle? And the answer is those three all have to add up to 360. So that's 260, which means my remaining angle has to be 100 as well. Okay, now I know those don't look like they're different ones, but that's the idea. Those have to add up to 360. And then the only other hard part about the question is I'm going to give you a 3-letter angle, and you have to know how to use 3-letter angles. Okay, that's all. Thanks. Bye.